Welcome to Mary's Eclectic Interests, and today I'm going to be cooking something very easy. And the reason I'm doing this is because I haven't had any breakfast or lunch and I'm rather hungry. So I'm going to make homemade hash browns. So what I'm going to be doing is taking these small potatoes and I'm going to get rid of them. My poor little, never put your hands in there either. All right. I'm going to cut these up a little bit before I do put them in this processor. This is not a very high-powered processor, food processor. It takes a little bit of work to get these things done. But I'm just going to slice them all up. A little smaller, I should say, not real small. I suppose I should get this out of my way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just cutting these up. You can see they're just in more like quarters. And I'm going to throw these in here. Have this all plugged in, and I have two different processors, so I always do them wrong. It's just, I keep thinking I have the one and it's the other. See, okay, this one's, the one that I really like that I had forever broke, and that one you didn't have to hold it down. You just turned it on, and I suppose this is a new safety feature so that if you do decide to reach in there and you start chopping your fingers off, you're going to let go of this little button. Like I said, this isn't a... Okay, I think that's all right. I hope. Yeah, there's some big chunks in there, but it's not too bad. So what I'm going to do is I always unplug anything electrical that I put in, especially with a blade, because that is something that I learned. And I'm going to, because you don't want to reach in there. What if that was plugged in and I accidentally hit something? And, well, this is not, and I've had this trouble before, and I laugh because I had a show where she had problems getting this off too. And I said, oh, well, and she wanted to cut that out. And I said, oh, sometimes that happens. You just can't get it out. And now watch, once I quit maneuvering this, sometimes it'll just let me do it. There, see? Sometimes you just have to walk away. And I'm putting this in a bowl. The reason you're not going to see me frying this right away, I'm going to put this in the microwave and to partially cook them. Otherwise, I'm going to be standing over that fry pan forever, and I don't feel like doing that. Now I have some big chunks in there. I'll probably take, well, I'll leave them in there and see what happens. I usually like it a little smaller, but they didn't all get small. There's some bigger ones, there's some littler ones. And I'll get rid of the food processor. I'm a butter person, so if you don't, and you can see I'm putting lots of butter in there. Now this is melting, and I have a lot of butter in there. I'm going to take some of that out. I got a little carried away there. But the butter is what gives it that real nice browning effect. And this poor pan, it's not exactly, you can see it's not level. And I've never done this on a hot plate, so this is going to be real interesting. Okay, I'm putting a little salt, a little pepper. Now sometimes when I do this, I'll actually chop onion up with it, or maybe some green pepper or red pepper. Whatever I happen to have around the house. I have a tendency to I call it junk fries, but I'll put a whole bunch of stuff in there that I happen to like. And the reason I'm going to flip this right now is I want to put salt and pepper on the other side. And if this doesn't turn out, you know what I have the option of doing? Yes, I can cut it out of the show. Here's some pepper, and here's some salt. Let's see if they're getting brown. I think they are. Yes, yes, yes. This is what I like. If I can get the little buggers are, I'm used to putting these in a bigger pan, but I need my other pan. Whoa! Boy, that was a good one. There we go. I'll show you. This is what I like. Look at how nice and brown those are. That's what I want. So I put it in 2 minutes in the microwave. Now, every microwave is different because everybody buys different, different kinds of microwave. All right, I need to know if my eggs are good. So I found out, yes, the internet is wonderful. Let's see if they go to the bottom. This one is good. It went to the bottom. This one is good because it went to the bottom. Okay, it says they expire September, or probably sell by September 4th. Now, I'm going to break my 2 eggs into my food processor. Here's 1. Here's 2. So creamy cottage eggs are pretty simple. All it is 2 eggs, a 1/4 cup of cottage cheese, and 1/2 teaspoon of oil and 1/2 teaspoon of butter. But I also want to see if my hash browns are done. And if they are, yes, they're getting, see, if I have a tendency to forget things, and then, yep, they're going to be fine. I'm going to take this off right now. I'm turning this off. We have our 1/4 cup of cottage cheese, and we have our 2 eggs. All right, here we go. And I'm going to blend, and I don't dare move this because it is hot. So you're going to have, it's going to have to be, let's see. And I certainly don't want to bend over it. All right, here we go. Again, I'm going to unplug this. Well, first I'm going to look and see if it looks like it's done. Yeah, it is. Now I'm going to unplug it. It's this one. I'm going to take this out. That way, there won't be any issues with there. And this time it came out really well. And I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to put a little bit of butter in, not much. And you can use whatever kind of oil you like in this, as long as it's an oil that can take high temperatures. These, then you just pour this in, and you can salt, pepper to taste with this. And this is another one of those dishes that I've also put green pepper in there, maybe some onion, whatever you want. I'm just going to make these very, very simple. Just the basic, this is the basic recipe. And we're going to do it that way just because I'm not going to, and it's a great way to get rid of part of things. If you have a little bit of sausage left, you'll have a little bit of this. But I'm just going to make these the actual recipe, the fluffy eggs. These are wonderful eggs. They slide down really well. Can't forget my eggs because I've done that before, because you want them light and fluffy. And if I forget these, they're going to be one big massive egg, and I don't know if I have enough cottage cheese to make another batch. And I am going to turn this down because it is getting kind of hot. There. Now there's enough eggs in here for 2 people. Or if this is all you're going to have, I've done that where I just have this, make up maybe a little salsa on the side. I have friends that like, I'm not going to say, well, okay, ketchup, ugh, with their eggs, but I know people, different parts of the U.S. and different parts of the world, they do different things with their eggs, and then those of us that don't think it's like gross. So these are cottage eggs. Look at how nice and fluffy these are. Aren't they nice? That's why I have to remind myself, don't walk away from the pan, because I did that one time when something happened and I ended up with very brown, icky eggs, all big, one big egg. It looked like a pancake actually. So I have to remind myself, don't walk away and think you can do something. Because I'm one of these multitaskers where I'm cooking, doing laundry, and that type of thing. All right, this is done. Look at how nice those are. I'm going to turn this off. So this is one way you could use the cottage eggs. You could even put the bacon on there if you have some. Or you can make yourself one heck of a nice egg sandwich. Usually if I'm in a hurry, just do the eggs, throw it on toast, and run out the door. But I'm going to eat first, and then I'm going to come back. Welcome to Mary's Eclectic Interests. Today I'll be preparing an asparagus casserole, and that's going to include, of course, your asparagus, and we're going to have 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of unbleached flour, 1 cup of milk, 4 hard-cooked eggs, and 1/2 cup of buttered breadcrumbs, 1 1/2 cups cooked asparagus. The recipe says for 1-inch pieces, so I cut mine. You can see it's a 1/2 inch. I would say a 1/2 inch. And I like that size better. It's easier. You don't have a big piece in your mouth, especially if also children are eating it. 1 inch is it is quite large, and I like everything smaller. You'll notice I'm not going to go all the way to the end. I'm just going to take what I call the tender portion of the asparagus, because I can get 1 1/2 in here. I have a long way to go. Well, I'll be doggone, I have 1 1/2 cups. Look at that, all that asparagus, and I get 1 1/2 cups, which is what I need. Okay, now we have the asparagus, and that's going to be cooking in my weird little, you notice all my stuff has water spots, and that's from the dishwasher. If anybody has a suggestion on, I think I read somewhere where they said put white vinegar in. I don't know if that works or not, but it seems I clean my dishes before I put them on. There we go. And this is going to have to boil and simmer. Then we're going to have a different one on. Here's the second one. It's working. And this one here, uh-oh. Okay, I'm going to have to turn it this way because my power strip is way over there. This one here, I have to make a white sauce. And that's with your flour and your butter and your milk. And I need a little salt and pepper. Let me see, we have a tablespoon of butter. Now this I have made before. We're going to melt the butter. But this smells. I can smell. You can't smell this. I can smell this. And I'm not sure which one of these, if it's this one that smells or the other one that smells. We'll find out in a little while when, if it all goes kapoof. And here's my butter. I think I have that on way too high. We're going to turn it down a little bit. And this goes in here. I'll call back. Well, I'll get that out. That was my neighbor calling. At the most, oh, now she's calling the other phone. Great. Judy, can I call you back? I'm filming. Thanks. Yep, all right, bye. Okay, I'm going to take this off. Watch, this whole thing is going to be goofed up. Now here's my fun little whisk that I like so well. All right, let's see what happens when I do this. Now I'm going to put this in little by little, and the reason I'm doing it little by little is I don't want it to get, I'm trying to mix it in with this so I don't get big chunks of flour later on. What I'm making is a white sauce. Okay, I might end up ruining this whole thing. Got a couple of phone calls and I tell people I'm filming, but we have some crazy stuff going on in our neighborhood. All right, I think I've got most of the, I'm hoping I have most of those clunks out of there. And I'm just going to keep putting this in little by little. And I'm going to raise up my heat, because this has to get thick. And I'm going to put in some salt. And you can put in whatever you like. And here's some pepper. And I might even put a little bit more salt in, because this is kind of a bland dish. Let's see how we're doing over here. Oops, that's right, I turned that off when the, let's get this back on, because I need that to steam. I might have my white sauce before I have my, and you're supposed to continue with the white sauce. Might as well get the rest of that in there. Okay, now that I have all that flour blended in, I can get rid of this, and I'm just going to use a regular wooden spoon, because this has to come to a boil and it has to thicken. Okay, now I'm forgetting this, and it'll probably burn to the bottom. Never leave, what do they say, everything boils when the cook walks away. I already preheated my oven to 350 degrees. And when I get this white sauce done, which I should have been doing when I walked away, but well, it'll all work out. It either will or it won't, and what could I say? I'm going to eat it anyway because I am so hungry. Okay, this looks pretty thick. I'm going to turn this all off. I'm going to let this one cool off, and I'm going to move this pan over. And then I can unplug this. And it's hot, but it's just this portion up on the top, and I'm going to move it over here. There. There. All right, so we have that done. This is steaming. So we have that going. I'm going to clean this up. Bad. This is just regular. I use a lot of butter. Those who want to use margarine can do so. I'm a butter person. Okay. So I'm going to get this all like that. Okay, now that's my buttered dish. I can get rid of this now. And what do we have now? We have this going. And man, is it steaming. Wow. I'm going to take some a little bit out, see if it's, what I want is, I don't want it mushy because it's going to be in the oven for about 15 minutes, but I want it a nice, just cooked. Nope, nowhere near there yet. So this has to go for a while longer. Not real well. So here this is what you're looking for. You're looking for this really nice peeled egg. This one I had done before these three, and I didn't do this. I was hasty and I just kind of did the, let's just get it done and that's it. So here we go. But we're going to cheat. I have one of these things. And whatever no matter how ugly your eggs look, when you put it through here, look at how nice they look. Perfectly good too. Look at how nice. So I'm going to put those in. And it doesn't really matter what you put in first, what you put in second. So here's my ugly eggs that didn't peel real well. And they're not even going to cut. Oh, come on. That's mean. It's not even going to cut well. There. Nope, they didn't even cut well. That looks terrible. Just remember, you're going to be eating it. Oh, I overcooked these eggs. That's why. That's why I'm having trouble with them. I threw them in one night. Now this one went okay. Look at that. That one went, it's ugly, but it did slice really nice. And here's my other one. Just remember, this is all going in a casserole. You're going to plop it on the plate and nobody's going to see it anyhow. Okay, I have all the eggs in there. Now we're waiting for our asparagus to cook. Our white sauce is done. And this is a nice thickness of white sauce. I like this. Came out very nice. Whee! So at least the white sauce came out. So here's the white sauce. And we're just waiting for the asparagus. Once the asparagus is done, that will go into the oven, and it's only going to be in there for approximately 15 minutes. Everything's going to be pretty, hot. So let's see how this is. Boy, this is, when you're doing this, look at how green they look. Geez, they look nice. Okay, they're cooked, so I'm going to turn this off. And I'm going to, there we go. There goes all that lovely, lovely, lovely asparagus broth or vegetable broth. Okay. All right, so it wants me to put everything in here. And here's this. And I just threw those eggs in there just because. There you go, there's the asparagus. And let's get the eggs in. I just wanted to show you what they look like. And basically this is it. It's a very, very simple dish. And I'm actually going to have this for supper, but it makes a very nice breakfast dish. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to add some more salt and pepper. And this is a very small pan. I should say this is a large, I should have put it in a smaller pan. And Okay, let's spread it. See, you can see why. This is way too big of a pan. I usually put it in a different one. It's a glass one. But it is what it is. This pan just happened to look a little nicer, so I thought, okay, we'll throw it in here. I'm trying to get these eggs put the eggs around a little bit more. So you can see why it only takes a few minutes in the oven. All right, I have that spread out pretty good. Let's get the asparagus over here and this over there. Now we have our buttered bread. Now the butter, what I do, because a loaf of bread lasts me forever, all my bread goes right into the freezer. So I took out the heel of the bread, the frozen bread, buttered it, and it seems to chop up so much better in your, I just have a little food processor. I call it a mini one. And this is probably a little bit more than a half a cup, but I don't believe in, what am I going to do with a little bit of breadcrumbs left? So so now you see what it looks like. And I'm going to be putting it in the oven for 15 minutes. And then I'll call my neighbor back. All right, so I have my egg dish out of the oven, and this is what it looks like. And this is actually going to be my dinner tonight. And it's after 7:30. I normally eat around 6, but that's okay. So here it is. I'm going to have, there we go. I'll eat half of it tonight. Well, not quite half. So I'm going to have something to eat, and then after that I'm going to clean up my great big mess that I have here. And in case you're wondering, I have the oven going. So I'm going to put some rolls in the oven. Not any that I make from scratch. They're in a can. But it's a comfort food night, and I'm going to have my eggs, and then I'm going to have my cinnamon rolls. Well, you have to have at least one when they come out of the oven.